Hey, what is going on, you guys? It is Mr. No Sleep here from Old School RuneScape, and welcome to a brand new video for you all today. So today I bring you guys loot from 1000 Cerberus, and I must say this is truly one of my luckiest loot videos yet, so make sure to watch the whole thing. Throughout this video there is tons of drops, and we also did all of the elite clue scrolls throughout the video. Now I must say I did see a lot of comments in my last video regarding all of the clue scroll caskets, and I saw that a lot of you guys wanted me to wait until the end of the video and open all of them there. And although I did not do this time, I am working on a new video called 5000 Cave Horrors, and I do plan on doing that casket idea for the next video. So I just want to give you guys a shout out for the comments and the suggestions. I just actually forgot to do that this video, so I do apologize. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's video and talk a little bit about Cerberus, what you guys can expect, and first off, what are the requirements in order to kill this boss. So the two main requirements are 91 Slayer, and of course the other requirement being you have to actually be on a Hellhound Slayer task. As soon as you get assigned a Hellhound Slayer task, you can just go to the Taberly dungeon, and once you go there, you just go to the Cerberus room, and there you go. It's that simple. Now, there is pretty much no required items to actually kill Cerberus, but the number one recommended item is, of course, the Spectral Spirit Shield. And the reason this item is recommended is mainly because if you have this shield equipped while a phase of this boss where 3 ghosts do come out and attack you 3 different ways, you will only lose 15 prayer points per attack, so that's a total of about 45 prayer points. But if you do not have a Spectral Spirit Shield equipped, say you're just an Iron Man account who hasn't unlocked the Spectral yet, then you will actually lose 90 prayer points when these ghosts come out, because it is 30 points per ghost, and essentially that's why a Spectral is very much recommended. Now, I went with a pretty basic setup. I mean, you can use a lot of different weapons at Cerberus, and me being a max main and, you know, having a Zamrock Hosta, I was getting judged quite a bit by people on my stream. A lot of people were wondering why I wasn't using a Twisted Bow, or a Scythe, or a Rapier, or a Bludgeon, because all of those weapons are actually better than the setup that I was using. And I guess the simple response to all of those weapons is I just like to keep things simple, and I figure you really can't go wrong with the Zamrock Hosta. It's pretty affordable, and I do figure most Iron Man accounts do have one. So yeah, that's kind of why I went with that. And alongside that, of course, I was rocking full bandos, Avernick Defender, as well as, you know, Fire Max Cape. I know some people have Inferno Capes, but like I said, I keep things simple. So yeah, that was essentially my setup. In the very beginning, I was very rusty. I have killed this boss 2,000 times prior to making this video. Even managed to get the pet 2 years ago, which is why you guys will not see a pet drop during this video. So yeah, I was dying quite a bit in the very beginning. I probably died about 10 times in the first 50 kills, so it was pretty embarrassing. But again, you know, I have to get used to things, and then I usually get a little bit more efficient at them. Now, for my special attack weapon, like I said before, you can use many different types of main weapons to kill Cerberus, and the same goes for the special attack. A lot of people use Crystal Halberd, Dragon Halberd, Dragon Dagger. I myself just went with Dragon Claws. I felt like there was a lot of DPS there, so that's what I used for my special attack. And for my inventory, I kept it pretty simple. I was bringing 6 prayer potions, 1 super combat, and then the rest of my inventory was just anglerfish. Now, as it goes for the Slayer points, I did start this video with 1700, and in all honesty, for every single task except the very last one, it took less than 200 Slayer points for all of that. So I actually got extremely lucky when getting assigned Hellhound tasks, and maybe that is because I was using Duradel, because I do know that he assigns Hellhounds the most often out of all of his Slayer Masters, so I do recommend you use him if he's available to you. And speaking of luck, this is actually our very first drop of the video, just around 250 kills into the 1000 goal. We did receive the least expensive crystal of them all, the Pegasian crystal, which is unfortunately just about 128k. And just about 30 kills later, we did receive another 1 in 128 drop, which is the Smoldering Stone. Luckily, it's about 2.4 mil, so it is the second least expensive item that you can get from the rare drop table of Cerberus. The other two being the Eternal Crystal, which is currently about 3.7 mil, and of course the main drop, which everyone hopes for, the Primordial Crystal, which is 30 to 31 mil depending on the day. As mentioned before, Cerberus does have a pet drop, which is 1 in 3000, and the only other very rare drop next to that is the Jar of Souls, which is 1 in 2000, and currently goes for about 100k. Now, kind of a spoiler alert, but we didn't get either of those throughout this video, which I really didn't mind because I have had them both in the past, so it wasn't really a big deal. And as you can see early on, you know, we were getting a little bit of odd luck, you know. This was our second Pegasian, and we were seeing quite a lot of elite clue scrolls as well. And the reason we were seeing so many elites is because that's only 1 in 100, so you will see, you know, on average, if you're killing 1,000, most likely 10 or so. We did see 2 uncommon drops, one being 42 rune arrows and the other one being adamant javelins, so, you know, it was pretty weird to see that as well. Now, here's a lovely early instance of my max cape actually serving one of the greatest purposes that it can, and that is of course being reassigned the same Slayer task that I just had, which was of course Hellhounds, which was of course Cerberus. So yeah, that is a perk if you have 99 Slayer or a max cape, and luckily for me that actually happened 3 different times throughout this video. Or maybe it was 2, but nevertheless it was extraordinary to save all those Slayer points. Almost as extraordinary as receiving our very first primordial crystal of the video just around kill number 496. So just at that halfway point, receiving something that is worth 30 mil, and you can kind of tell just looking at that drop tab right away that this drop table is actually really good. You know, compared to our last high level Slayer boss monster video, which was the thermonuclear smoke devil, this normal drop table from Cerberus is actually worthwhile. You know, it's really good alchables, it's very good Iron Man resources such as dragon bones, coal, rune ore, fire orbs, uncut diamonds, and of course you guys will see everything at the very end in the price check. I would say one downside to this boss is just simply the amount of prayer potions that you have to use. I mean, the food is understandable, most people can afford using anglerfish or sharks or whatever your preference is, but the prayer potions is definitely more than most bosses require, and that's simply because of that ghost attack that I mentioned earlier. And back to the rare drops, this is our second smoldering stone that we did receive, and shortly after we did actually see our very first eternal crystal of the video, just about 3.6 mil, not quite as much as the primordial, but it was still nice to see. And if you're curious what these crystals do, maybe you haven't played RuneScape in a while, essentially the eternal crystal you can combine with a pair of infinity boots, and that makes eternal boots. The Pegasian you can combine with a pair of ranger boots, and that makes Pegasian boots. And of course the primordials you can combine with a pair of dragon boots, and that makes primordial boots. So yeah, they are the best in slot boots in the game, at least for now, and that is what those crystals serve a purpose for. As it pertains to the smoldering stone, essentially you can use that on a dragon pickaxe or a dragon hatchet. That allows you to receive fire making XP while you're woodcutting, or smithing XP while you're mining. So I would say Cerberus, due to the purpose that all of those rare items actually serve, is one of the best bosses, especially for Ironman accounts, you know, and especially for just making this game easier and more efficient for you. So it is something to keep in mind that this is a very important boss for a lot of accounts, whether you're an Iron Man or not. The money is very good as well. And speaking of the money, here is our second eternal crystal drop of the video. It was really nice to see. You know, it's always great to see any crystal except the Pegasian. Around 2 years ago, I actually did a video called Killing Cerberus for 30 hours, and if I recall correctly, the only crystals I received in that video was 4 Pegasians and nothing else. So it kind of gives you the idea that although each crystal is the same exact RNG, it's 1 in 512 for an individual crystal or a smoldering stone, but it's a 1 in 128 chance to hit any of the uniques on that drop table. Your luck can really be good or bad, just all depends on the crystal that you receive, and that's kind of the downside about this boss, is that even though you may receive a lot of crystals, it could be the wrong kind. This one, however, is certainly the right kind. This was our second primordial. As you can see, I was very excited in this clip. You know, just seeing 60 mil and 2 rares is just incredible, and I'm not too sure why prims are so expensive right now. I do recall them one point, maybe it was 6 months ago, maybe it was a year ago, just being just around 19 to 20 mil, and now they're much more than that. So maybe just not a lot of people are killing Cerb these days, I'm not too sure. And here we have another smoldering stone drop. I believe this was our third one of the video, but nevertheless it was great to see, and 3000 KC overall and just about 174 kills to go. And then I must say the unexpected happened, and we did receive our third primordial crystal, now receiving 90 mil simply in these 3 crystals alone. So I was incredibly happy. I mean, I know I've said that before in this video. Just looking at that drop tab, you know, 3 prims, 2 eternals, 3 smoldering stones, a Pegasian, and guess what? Another eternal crystal. Sadly not another primordial, but yeah, another 3.6 mil to the drop tab. And I would say the only turning point of my luck was this right here, and as you can see, as mentioned before, we only used 200 Slayer points for pretty much all of these Cerberus tasks, which is unheard of. But of course the last task did take just about 1200 Slayer points, but luckily we did get assigned 192, and that was going to wrap up this video. Now this video in general did take me about 4 days total, and of each of those days I was playing just about 8 to 9 hours a day, so I'd say less than 40 hours. I did not actually calculate my kills per hour. I do apologize, but again, I think that just really varies on who you are and what you're using, and you know, really just depends on your combat. So don't worry too much about that. It's really just depending on the person. And here are our last drops of the video. So we did receive another smoldering stone, which I didn't touch on, and of course our last crystal being the eternal one. And guess what? Another smoldering stone. You know, as I'm voiceovering this video, I keep looking at all these these drops thinking to myself, okay, is this the last one? Like, when is the fucking drops going to end? But finally, with 14 kills to go, we did actually finish all of the rares, and we did get pretty much everything that I could ever want. You know, minus the pet reroll, which we already have the pet from years ago, and of course minus that worthless jar of souls that no one really cares to get either way. So overall, I would say our luck was phenomenal in this video, and of course from all the elite clues and the master clue as well, we received absolutely nothing. So just a quick reminder to never do your elites. Big shout out goes to the Twitch chat. Thank you guys very much for all the support. I did live stream all of these kills from start to finish throughout this week, very casually. You know, I used to do like 10-15 hour streams of these videos. Now I'm just back to doing casual 8s, and I gotta say it's pretty easy going. So I was very happy to be doing that this week, and a big shout out to everyone who tuned in to the Twitch live streams. Now at the very start of the video, we did have 17 mil in supplies, and at the very end we had 4.6 mil remaining, which means we spent just about 12 mil in food and prayer potions. As mentioned before, this is not a cheap boss to kill as it pertains to supplies, so that is something to keep in mind. And let's go ahead and get to the price check and see just how much money we made and just how much money we profited. Okay, so first things first, all of the normal drops did come out to be just about 17.4 mil for the very first price check. That is all of the rune items, all of the runes, the cannonballs, the ores, the herbs, as well as the seeds. And our very next price check, which includes the D'hide, the wine of Zamrock, as well as the super restores, which are really good for Ironman accounts, does come out to be just about 2.7 mil. So we go ahead and add 2.7 to the 17.4 mil, and just in normal drops from 1000 Cerberus, you can expect just about 20.1 mil, give or take a few 100k depending on your luck. And of course, now for the exciting part, just how much money did we make from all of the rares? 2 Pegasians, 3 Primordials, 4 Eternals, and 5 Smoldering Stones, all in under 1,000 kills. Isn't that awesome? Everything included, it does come out to be 117 mil. So we go ahead and we add that to the 20 mil, and the overall price check from 1000 Cerberus is none other than 137 mil. And minusing all the supplies that we did use, we walked away with just about 125 mil profit in about 4 days of just killing a very big red dog. Well, that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you're curious about the clue scroll rewards, don't really worry too much about that. I think all in all the elites and all the masters really just added up to like 1 mil max, if that. So we really didn't make too much from that. But nevertheless, we did have a lot of fun. We got a lot of XP, over 690,000 Slayer XP from this video, and a lot of money gained to the bank. So I will be seeing you guys probably in 3 to 5 days with loot from 5,000 Cave Horrors. And until next time, guys, Mr. No Sleep out.